Hey, welcome to another episode of Music Tips and Reviews with JG. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. On this channel, I try not to be too religious, get into a lot of religious conversation on this particular channel. I have other channels where I talk about religion and stuff like that. But since this pertains to music, I want to get into this. And check out my review on the Glorilla album. Check out that very good review that I did. And by the way, Glorilla has a great album. So, if you're into hip hop, rap, it's a great album to check out. And so, I want to talk about this because, through my childhood, I was raised in the church. Both of my parents, are ministers in the church. And I grew up on Kirk Franklin. My parents, especially my mom, she used to love, listening to Kirk Franklin a lot. She grew up listening to Kirk Franklin. Well, not grew up. She, throughout my childhood, I used to, listen to God's Property, New Nation, all those songs when I was younger. And there's always been a thing with Kirk Franklin that, his music is too edgy, this and that, especially from church people. We have to realize that, those who read the Bible, Jesus didn't just stay in the four walls. He didn't just stay in the synagogues. He went out preaching to the poor. He healed the sick. He healed the brokenhearted. And I think we've lost sight of that. No, I don't agree with everything Kirk Franklin does. Sometimes the way he dresses is a little questionable. I ain't gonna lie. A lot of things that he does on stage is a little questionable. As the church folks say, gyrate. But, you can't deny that his message is about Jesus. It's about, he's the only one that can save you. He connects the age gap. He connects people. All throughout his career, he connects people to Christ. He always on what's next, what's the new thing. And that's what I admire about Kirk Franklin. He encourages the new thing, the new wave. It's done away with, the choir, all the choir stuff. It's done away with all that stuff. People, young people is not really going to church like they used to. And so he has to go where they are. If it has to be through the radio waves, if it has to be through streaming, people might have gotten saved, listen to Glorilla's song Rain on Me with Kirk Franklin and Maverick City and Kiara Shields. Somebody might have gotten saved, in the middle of that album because they heard that song. They heard the soulful lyrics of the gospel artists on that record. And so we have to be mindful of those things, I feel. I remember a lot of times in my life, I've gone through low times, depressed times, and I listened to Kirk Franklin and it got me through. I shed some tears, but the words that he had, the lyrics he had, and his songs really brought me out. So, Kirk Franklin is here for a reason. Sometimes he might have, and I know he's modest a lot, modest a lot about his abilities and his gifts, but, it has saved people. A lot of people in the church is quick to judge Kirk Franklin because he's, being with these secular artists, performing with these secular artists. But that's the only way they can receive, in a lot of cases, salvation. If he goes with them, goes to the concerts and he hangs among them, among those people. And he's not like, he's not going to these places and just doing what they do. People act like he's going up here and cussing. He's going up here saying sexually explicit things. No, he's going up here and he's singing his songs that he wrote from, about God. People was talking about when he performed with Usher. Yeah, Usher is a R&B artist. Yes, Usher has sexually explicit lyrics in some of his songs, but Kirk Franklin went up there to sing Stomp, and I see nothing wrong with Stomp. I don't see nothing wrong with him singing it there. Some people in that concert might have gotten touched by that, like, oh, I remember this from my childhood when I used to go to church. And they might have went to church that next Sunday because they heard Kirk Franklin sing that song at a Usher concert. And so, yeah, we just got to be mindful. We can't be too critical about these gospel artists. Yeah, some things about what he does is very questionable. Yes, it is. But we have to be wise about how we view things about people. We can't say if Kirk Franklin is saved or not. We don't know that. Only God knows. We can't say that, if anyone is saved, but we have to have our own accountability on our own lives. So I just wanted to say that. Still a huge fan of Kirk Franklin. I love his music. He really reaches into those places where other gospel artists, they dare to go. They're scared to go. And Kirk Franklin goes there because he knows it's a lost generation out there that needs to be, hear the name Jesus. Just hear the name Jesus. And so, I didn't mean to go real religious, but I had to speak my mind about this situation. Because I've heard several, YouTube channels, they talk about, why is Kirk Franklin performing with these particular artists? He knows his objective. He knows his calling. He knows his gift. And that's to win souls, in places where, some Christians will not dare to go. They go in there and they reach people. So appreciate y'all for tuning in. Please subscribe to my channel. Hope you got some understanding from what I said. And until next time, peace.